Yeah, because we have a whole universe inside of us, trillions of cells. It's doing their own
Yeah.
thing.
The video I'm working on now, I just finished the script for it, is do we live in a simulation? So I'm going to explain that whole and why we think we live in a simulation and how, and that goes back to the body and the way we experience life through this body and the way water experiences life. So it just triggered that in my mind right now. But
Do we?
yes and no.
Yeah.
Human beings are not in a simulation. Water is.
Water is in the simulation of a human being.
Right. Like
Yes.
water consciousness. When I say water, I mean consciousness.
Mm-hmm.
Consciousness created, like I said, the video game, the simulation,
Yeah.
and is acting inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
Where we as human beings are not, we think about it again as human beings, our point of view. So is there somebody else that put us, my body, somewhere in a simulation, kind of like the Matrix?
Yeah.
And my body is actually somewhere else. And my mind is hijacked into a computer simulation. And
Mm-hmm.
so it's just kind of interesting. So that's not happening. That will happen in the future. We will
You
create
mean
that.
literally? Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I think, when you think about that next step of evolution into space that we talked about, it's possible that your body will not be physical anymore.
Mm-hmm.
You won't be doing labor anymore. That's the reason you have those tools. Like I said, we'll be free of any labor. All that will happen. Like matter will move matter. We'll just use, right now, you can imagine it through like mapping your brain waves, and you just think about it and it happens.
Yeah.
So in that way, water will think about it and it will happen rather than water actually doing it itself.
Mm.
Right.
That's
So
so.
that
That's far out.
so that's where we will be in the simulation.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
But right now, as it is, you don't experience anything directly. We all know that. Eyes, touch, all our sensors. This is technology. Our body is a technology.
Mm-hmm.
So actually, all of our senses are artificial. So if I plug a different input to your eyes, a different input to your ears, a different input to your taste, so we understood that it's possible.
Mm-hmm.
So as far as a philosophy, you say, well, if it's possible, maybe we are in it.
Mm-hmm.
But we as human beings are not. But for water, the experience of life is like a simulation. And that's why we even have that concept and idea that it's possible. It's like a little video game where they keep coming at you and you have to
Just trying to keep you on your toes. That's funny. Oh man, I don't even know where to take this one. I mean, what we just talked about is the concept of Brahman and Atman. They've known this concept for thousands of years, and we're just putting it into different terminology. And it's interesting that Brahman comes into Atman. Brahman, the infinite consciousness, comes into Atman, us as a human being. We all hold that in us, and then it seems to be we're creating our way back into the infinite consciousness. Like
yeah.
we're like if we are going to technically hook up ourselves, our consciousness, up to a computer, which it might be a little more complicated than that in the future, but we'll say keeping it simply, we plug something in our heads and we go back into the infinite consciousness where anything is possible. It seems like it's just part of that cycle of infinite consciousness coming in, flowing into the vehicles, and then we go back into that infinite consciousness void, dreamlike state of computerized infinity, whatever that is like, I don't know. And then probably from there, we're going to create another simulation.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like this flow. It's this process. And
Yeah.
that's why water is such a perfect analogy, because water is the flow and it's right in front of our eyes. We drink it every day. We shower, everything. It's literally us. Like the answer is right here, and
Right.
we're just like, oh, it's just nothing. It's just water. We take it for granted.